Thank you very much. Hello, Legally. How about a big hand for David Kilnick for everything that he does for us? And Andrew Stern and Edie Windsor is with us. She is a pioneer in challenging DOMA, and we hope she will be a pioneer in eliminating DOMA. Let's hear it for Edie Windsor. And we are joined by a wonderful colleague of Leader Pelosi's and mine, who works every day in the House of Representatives for civil rights at home and human rights abroad. Congresswoman Grace Ming is with us. Let's hear it for Congresswoman Ming. And finally, how about, ladies and gentlemen, a rousing Long Island welcome for the former future Speaker of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi. I said rousing. Next time, maybe you can do a little better. Look, this is, you know what the sweetest sound in the world is? A congressman with laryngitis. There's nothing better than that. Steve Carl, who owns this wonderful facility, he should have a plaque here. Here stood Steve Israel, who gave a short speech. This is history. It's not that I want to be brief, it's that I have to be brief. So I just want to make 2 points. One is, thank you for the work that you do. Every generation of Americans is asked to step up and take on the task of fulfilling what school children say every day in their classrooms, liberty and justice for all. Every generation is asked to step up and take up that task to fight for liberty and justice for all. And I have to tell you that nobody that I know has stepped up more forcefully, more frequently, and more faithfully to that cause than Nancy Pelosi. Leader Pelosi asked me to chair, as you heard, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, and so I have been able to watch her up close. I think probably closer than almost any other member of Congress. And I remember on the first day that she became Speaker of the House, first day that we were in the majority, when the gavel was put in her hands, do you know what she did with it? She passed the Lilly Ledbetter Act, because we agree that no woman in America should be asked to work at a lower pay than any man in America for the same job. Passed that on day one. And on her last days as Speaker of the House, temporarily, before she surrendered the gavel, or before it was pried out of her hands, you know what she did? She used that gavel to pass the final repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Because nobody who loves his or her country should be told that they can't fight for his or her country because of who they love. And she passed that bill. Now, in between, we passed the Affordable Care Act, and which is so magnificent. But it was Nancy Pelosi who made sure that as part of that hallmark legislation, that no insurance company in America could ever again discriminate against somebody who has HIV/AIDS. No more lifetime limits. Now, here's my final point. Here's my final point about her. You would think from what I just said that on the first day as Speaker, she led the fight, and on her last day as Speaker, she led the fight. But here's something else you should know about her. When she was elected, when she was a brand new member of Congress like Grace Ming, her maiden speech on the floor of the House of Representatives, and that's a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. You think about that first speech. It's what you're going to be remembered for. You really give some thought. What am I going to say? How do I want to introduce myself to my colleagues? What do I want my constituents to know about me? What's going to define me here? And in her first speech on the floor in 1987, she dedicated that speech to the cause of HIV/AIDS and people with HIV/AIDS. So that's 26 years. So David, you've been talking about 20 years, and I'm proud of those 20 years. But for 26 years on the floor of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi has always been there. Now, we have more work to do. And so when she is Speaker again, we will pass the Employment Non-Discrimination Act once and for all. We will end DOMA once and for all. And we will be that generation that once and for all steps up and says that there will never be a David Hernandez in America again. We will not let that happen again. We will end the bullying on the floor of the House, and we will end the bullying in the classrooms of America. And she will lead us. Ladies and gentlemen, she stepped up 26 years ago. She has never lost a step in the fight. My boss, our leader, America's conscience, Nancy Pelosi.